Hi, I'm Charbria Shine, and welcome back to Max Out Girl. All right, ladies, we are back with a Women in Business Spotlight. Woo-woo! We have a very special guest today, Ms. Joslyn Kelly, the proprietor and visionary of Jay's Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey.
So I'm excited to be back because we were right here in this spot 2 years ago.
Wow.
Talking about this amazing business. And you are still up and running, girl, and thriving. So let's talk about it. You're about to celebrate how many years?
10.
Woo, child, 10 years. Oh my God.
This baby will be 10 years
That's
old
amazing.
on October the 1st.
My birthday, y'all.
Oh.
Y'all gotta have a party. I need to come up
It
here.
will be a party,
Yes,
honey.
okay. Tell me about it. Yes, that'll be amazing fun. So, okay, 10 years, that's amazing. So what would you say, give us a little bit of look into those 10 years and what would you say is kind of like, I guess can attest to some of your success, because we were talking before the podcast and a lot of businesses have closed that we know of, that we're hearing about in today's economy. What would you say is kind of how you've made it?
Well, anything that you chase runs from you.
Anything that you chase runs from you.
Right. So
okay.
if you chase a person, they're going to run from
yeah,
you.
for sure.
I have a dog, and anytime he thinks that you're chasing him, he thinks it's a game, and he's going to run. And so we learned, let him run and stop. And then he realizes, this is a game.
Yeah.
She's not playing with me. Let me come back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And money's the same way. And one thing that I've learned in these almost 10 years is that your purpose in doing something really testifies your resilience and whether or not you can still stay in the game.
Yeah.
Oprah said it best, do what you love and the money will come. Well, the money ain't necessarily came to the level of Oprah.
Right.
However, because the reason why I do this supersedes any of the trials and tribulations, and it gives me the fortitude to get up and keep going.
Wow. So I'm assuming in those 10 years you've had some hard and trying times.
Oh, absolutely.
So what did you do when you felt like, because I know you may have had times where you felt like giving up.
That could be 2 to 3 times a day.
Okay. No, you're keeping it real. I love that. Yeah.
But again, resilience. Anything worth having takes work.
Yeah.
Right? It is in our weakest moments where we actually recognize our strength. And I'm a spiritual person, so I recognize that God's got my back.
Yeah.
Right? But most importantly, the resilience. When I talk to students or speak, one of the questions I always throw out there is there anyone in this room afraid of failure? 9 times out of 10, the majority of the room raises their hand.
Yeah.
And I question them and I said, well, why are you afraid of failure? Well, I don't want to be a disappointment. I just don't like the way it feels. I said, well, can I share something with you? Had I not failed, I wouldn't know what it feels like to win. But more importantly, when you are moving in a direction, that failure is teaches you some things.
Yeah.
And that failures don't come back again and again if you don't get the lesson.
Yeah.
So I expect it, I expect if something should happen that there's a lesson in it for me, And then the other thing is, just like when we were learning to walk as babies, if we never got back up, we would never walk.
Yeah.
And so it's just a journey of getting back up. So things are going to come. Now, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What do they say? It's 10% what happens to you, but 90% how you react.
Respond,
Yeah. So for me, it's, I know the bullets are going to come, the daggers are going to come, but I put on my full armor and I get up and I know where my help is and where my help is coming from. And I know that for a fact that I'm blessed to be a blessing. So therefore, whatever I'm going through is elevating me and preparing me for the next level of whatever there is to come. So I got to keep going.
Yeah, so what would you tell, because that's great, like say that entrepreneur who kind of feels like, okay, I hear what you're saying, sis, that sounds great, but what's a typical day if I feel like I'm about to give up and I just can't handle the pressure? What are maybe some practical tips that you can give me, or a step that I can just get back up and keep going?
Your circle.
Okay.
Your circle. You have to surround yourself with people who have done it Even to an extent of people who've attempted, and look at why they did not continue to go.
Okay.
One of my biggest pet peeves is people who want to interject the shoulda, I should have done this, or I could have done this, or I would have done that.
Yeah.
And my response, most times, I'm a Gemini, so I have to really hold her back, is, but what have you done?
Yeah.
What have you done? And with that being said, the people who have the most to say are most of the time still living vicariously through you. So you can't begrudge what they're saying, but at the same time, please don't judge my walk until you have the tenacity, the fortitude, the resilience to walk in my shoes.
Yeah, it's so easy to give opinions or advice when you're not doing it yourself, right? So I love that. You said your circle. So how would one go about, if you're saying find someone who's done it or learn from their mistakes, how do you go about finding that circle?
Well, your circle are those who cheerlead you, right? And sometimes we say, well, our family are our worst critics. In my instance, what I've learned is in the early stages when they saw who they, through their eyes, they wanted me to be, and I wasn't necessarily that person. But through perseverance, they see that I'm the person who's going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep pushing. And so they grew to understand who I am and not who they wanted me to be. And they're my biggest cheerleaders. You know? So let me take a step back. There are times when we look at the people closest to us and they're like, why don't they support me? And I want to reiterate, because they see the person that they want you to be, but they don't see the person that you see yourself as. And that goes both ways. There are people who I see plenty of potential, but they don't see the potential in themselves. I can't make them see their potential, but what I can do is I can cultivate it the best way I can without pushing them until they're ready to walk in that season.
I love that. So you're saying, like, have tenacity, make sure that you love what you're doing. I hear that from you. That's really good, because tests and trials are going to come. So you have to make sure that, you know, that you love what you're doing, you have a passion for it, so that when that comes, it doesn't knock you off your square.
Absolutely.
That's really powerful. Because I feel like, even in my entrepreneurship journey, there's been times where I love something, but it feels like the money isn't coming. So I'm like, well, what should I jump to? What should I change to? What's going to really bring me, you know what I mean? Like that success or that money.
50 years of living, I have learned a jack of all trades, master of none. Bible specifically says, I will pour you out a blessing that you won't have room enough to store it. He doesn't say, I'm going to pour you out blessings that I want you over here, I want you over there, I want you over there. We're a piece of a puzzle. And we all have a divine appointment for our piece of that puzzle. And when we try to be all things to all people, we're doing a disservice to ourselves and to the one who created us. Because we're not focused on what we're supposed to be doing, right? And so that's something that I'm not going to say I'm great at it.
But you're learning.
But I'm learning. And I'm learning that I don't have to be all things to all people. But I know where my talent and my skills lie. And for that growth in me allows me to see the talent, skills in other people. And that's where you begin to see teamwork. And you see people come around you that will help them get to their goals, where you're helping yourself get to your goals. It's a win-win situation. So if we're all at the table exerting our strongest assets, that's a winning game. You know, if you put Kobe on the team with Michael and everybody else, if they all have the same skills, then that's a futile game, right? But if you put them all with different skill sets and different strengths, that's a team, that's a winning team, if that makes sense.
No, that's good, because I'm assuming that some of your success in these 10 years is because of teamwork, right? I know a lot of people say that, you know, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. We hear all those things, but I feel like it's so true, because even in my entrepreneurship journey, when I'm trying to be a solopreneur, sometimes you get burnt out. So talk about the importance of team, and how do you build your dream team?
So for one of the questions that I always ask of anybody who I'm interviewing is, if you could do something all day, every day, and money wasn't a concern, what would it be? That's the definition of passion. And I wait to hear what they respond. Some people will light up and say, well, I love to do this, and if I could do this all day. And that's wonderful. Or you'll hear someone say, I just love to help people. Well, what about helping people do you love?
Yeah.
And you have to help them to see what it is that's bringing them joy and passion. Someone who loves service really prospers in this type of business.
Yeah.
Because it's all about service. And a lot of times it's less me and more for another person. But at the same time, you have to build boundaries. And in building those boundaries, you can't let people take more from you that was meant for you. This is my thing in 2025. He says he's going to pour me out a cup, right? And in the overflow. But what happens when I go into the cup was meant to sustain me to help somebody else?
Yeah.
I'm taking away from myself. So that's when I get tired. That's when I get burnt out and all those negative things happen.
Yeah.
So in 2025, I'm teaching myself, I'm giving from the overflow, not from in the cup, which was meant to sustain me.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's important as teamwork as well. Giving people grace, because that's when it all boils down to is grace. None of us are perfect. None of us have all the answers. You know, I am a forever learner. So I learned this little thing and I'm all into it. I spent about 2 hours last night on Hillman Talk University. I mean, I'm like, wow, there are people out here who have walked the walk in different areas that I want to walk. I don't necessarily want to perfect it, but there's some things that I want to do to improve myself. And so therefore, why would I not learn from someone who's perfected that skill? Again, that piece of the puzzle. So when I talk about team, it's a plethora of not only those people cheerleading you, but people who have expertise in areas that maybe you don't even need to have expertise in that area, but you can benefit from their expertise in helping you to do what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. If that makes sense.
That's great. So teamwork, I'm glad that you kind of explain how you feel about that, because when I'm thinking of teamwork, I was thinking about like within your business, but you're thinking of it also like your rah-rah, people who are cheering you on to keep going, encouraging you, but also team could be people you don't even know. Maybe it's mentors in your head that you're a mentor, but maybe you're learning from them on YouTube, or because sometimes when you're talking about finding people who are experts, sometimes you might feel like, well, I don't have access to all these people. But talk about that a little, because what if you feel like in my circle, I'm meeting people, but I may not know the top expert that I need to know in my field.
I love you said that.
Yeah.
Because I have mentors in my head. One of them, I do. Yes. One of them is Pinky with Slutty Vegan. Okay. Right. One is Tabitha Brown.
Yes.
Okay. And the cool thing of it is that you always have access. And the reason why I say you always have access, because we have a little thing called the internet, social media, and things of that nature.
Yes.
And so some of the conversations that they have and the way that they interact gives you an opportunity to be directly involved into, if we had a one-on-one conversation, you can almost say, well, this is most likely what they would say to me.
Yes.
But then the other part of it is that, again, I said I'm a forever learner. So I take time and I go to different seminars and I go to different workshops. Yeah. So twice I've been in the same room as both of the mentors in my head.
That's awesome.
Because you go and you make investment in yourself.
You can find a way to get in there.
You can find a way. And you never know your name being spoken in other rooms, but at the same time, put yourself in those rooms.
I like that.
And sometimes it takes a sacrifice or an investment.
Like financial sacrifice.
Yeah, time. I mean, it's all sacrifice. Yeah. And working on the business is the difference between an entrepreneur and being an enterprise. And 10 years, I don't want to be an entrepreneur.
Gotcha.
Building an enterprise, because that's the difference. As long as we accept being at the level, always doing, rather than raising to the next level, that we've actually pulled somebody along. Now, I don't necessarily have to be in the business, but I can work on the business. Yeah. I'm also inspiring that person who's now working in the business to continue to climb. Yeah. And as a people, we have to do a better job of not just settling, okay, I made it to this point.
I got the business.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. I don't need nothing else. I'm driving a Mercedes. Yeah. It's not about the material things.
Right. It's like
not
legacy.
Yeah. It's not even, you ask, one of the questions you asked a little while ago was, how do I keep coming back even in times when I get discouraged?
Yeah.
It's not about what we do for people, it's about how we make them feel.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, my customers make me feel like I have to be here. I can't tell you the number of times people come in and just simply say, thank you for being here. Thank you for following through with your vision.
Yeah.
So I have a responsibility to the citizens in this community to give it my best.
Yeah.
Because they're counting on me to encourage them, but they don't realize that the little things that they do by just saying thank you. I understand.
Yeah.
Having a little grace when we get a little busy and things get kind of backed up. All those things are encouragement for us to keep going.
Yeah.
And we work hard. We work extremely hard in providing a service that we don't have in our community. And oftentimes people will come and say, well, you don't do it like XYZ on Michigan Avenue. I don't have the money like Michigan Avenue.
Has someone actually said something like that before?
Yeah, we've had comments
Really?
like that. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
or,
interesting.
I don't have these problems when I go to the big chain. Okay. And why do you charge for this? Well, my costs are this because I don't have economies of scale. I don't get to buy bulk
big
in that
bulks.
for
Yeah.
100 stores.
Yeah.
We have one store that we're buying for.
So different. Yeah.
It's extremely
You can't
different.
compare the two.
No. But we do because we don't fully understand it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's important for me to understand it because that makes the difference of celebrating 10 years and not making it through 2.
Yeah. When you say that, you mean because you're paying attention to some of their concerns, or you mean because you're paying attention to your bottom line? Which?
All of the above. And it all plays a part.
Yeah.
There's no little pieces.
True.
There's no big pieces.
It's
They're
all
all
important.
pieces. Yeah.
Yeah.
So down to the person, I mean, let's just be truthful.
Yeah.
Everybody's not gonna like everything. And I
Correct.
respect that.
Yeah.
There are things that I don't like.
Right,
you
of
know?
course.
And it's okay. And everybody, believe it or not, and it's okay, it's not your customer.
That's true too.
And I'm okay with that.
That is so true. Yep.
And like, for instance, right down the street, couple blocks down, we have one of the cornerstones of this community that's been here, I believe, over 50 years.
Okay.
Their clientele is much different from my clientele.
Right.
And so I want them to see another 50 years. And I want them to thrive, and I want them to do better and all that good stuff. And what people fail to realize is that when you have multiples of a thing, it creates choices.
Right.
And more options for more people to come. It's so many people out here that we have the responsibility, the privilege, that's the word, the privilege to serve.
Yeah.
That just do what you got. Do your best at what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you ain't got to look around. I'm tilling my garden.
You're doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's so good. So when you're an entrepreneur, to focus on you. I think in my entrepreneurship journey, there's times where I've gotten distracted to even about to change a whole trajectory of my focus because I'm like, oh, look at what they're doing, and maybe I should do that. And grass looks greener on the other side. And it's like, but God didn't call you to do that. So you might get in that thing and may not be successful because that's not that's not your garden, right? And so I think it's so important, kind of we were talking about earlier, but to stay focused, not try to be all things to all people, stay in your lane pretty much. And I think by the time, like I look at myself, that I changed my mind about so many things, I could have had my feet planted in one thing because you got to grow. It's got to be those growing pains. And I think sometimes when we're in that, we want to jump ship. Talk about that a little bit.
So, again, we don't like discomfort.
We don't. I'd be like, what's next? I ain't doing it. Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something about discomfort. Discomfort moves us to another level.
That's true.
If you are constantly comfortable, you're going to get bored. You're going to miss out on opportunities.
That's true,
You know, I was talking to somebody yesterday about schools, and I said, for me, the biggest thing that I remember going through school was exposure.
Okay.
I went to public school. I went to private school. I went to boarding school. I was an exchange student. I graduated from a public high school. I went to a historically black college. I went to a predominantly white university. I've experienced everything. I have exposure,
Yeah.
right? And so when we look at opportunities, if all you know is all you know, then you're in this little box. But if you give yourself the opportunity to see, do, and experience different things, the world is your oyster.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So the example I gave him was I loved a good cheeseburger until somebody gave me a ribeye steak. Then somebody messed around and gave me some Wagyu. I don't begrudge the cheeseburger because I still love a good cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And I still love a great ribeye steak. But baby, Wagyu, Wagyu, Wagyu.
Now, what is Wagyu? I've never had this.
Oh, it's a Japanese cut of beef.
Okay. I'm like, what is this?
But again,
Wagyu,
that's
okay.
like, we'll do it in terms of first class.
Okay, yep.
Right? So you get on you ride in the car, okay? I get to my destination. If I take a road trip to get from here to Atlanta, we'll say 10, 12 hours, right?
Okay.
Okay, that was fun, all that great.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, well, why don't we fly? Okay, so now we're gonna take this 3-hour flight. Oh, wonderful. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Then somebody messed around and said, well, why don't we go into the lounge, the private lounge before we get on the flight? What?
You like a private who?
Right. Then they say, well, they got this little thing called first class. You get in first class, and I was like, well, why did I ever get
It's
in a car to
another
drive,
level, right? Yeah.
But then there's another level. So now I'm in a private jet to go to this destination, so I don't have to do any of the things that I did. I still don't begrudge getting in the car if I have to.
Right.
Right? But it's so many levels to things. And if you only allow yourself to get in that car, think of all the opportunities that you're not able to see.
Yeah.
And then for me, my traveling allows me to go different places and then bring it back here and
That's
try
awesome.
different things
Yeah.
and bring that experience back to other people. And I'm like, why did you come up with this? Well, I was in such and such and such and
That
such.
you exposed yourself to. I love that.
And now that encourages that person. Well, I never thought about that. Well, I always wanted to do it. And they're like, next time, take me. I said, they sell tickets every day.
So you can go. Yeah. No, I love that because I guess with what I do with shows, I do stage plays and stuff like that. I always go to bigger and better shows, you know. And at first it'll make you feel bad, like, oh, I can't do that. No. You look at that to learn, and also it's inspiration. It helps you to keep aspiring to do better and to do more. And like you said, you get so many ideas, like just going to it. So I love to go to everything, like from the smaller shows to the Broadway shows. Like,
Absolutely.
learn and explore, and even shows that might not be my cup of tea. At first I used to be like, I'm only going to stuff I like, but you don't learn that way either. Like
when you said that, one of my very first stage, I can't say very first.
Yeah.
As an adult, one of my very first stage plays I went to go see was Tyler Perry's I Know I've Been Changed.
Yep. Okay.
And it was at the Fox Theater downtown Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a beautiful theater.
So before that was like his first in a theater.
Okay.
Because he was on the Chitlin circuit.
Yep,
right?
I remember that.
Just imagine if Tyler Perry was satisfied with doing shows in churches.
Yep.
How we would have missed out on so many great opportunities.
Yeah.
He would have missed out on so many great opportunities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But something said, okay, this is cool. Or somebody said, let me show you something.
Let's try
and
here. Let's go there.
And expands it and expands it. And now the man has a former Confederate Army base.
It's all his now.
It's a studio. And guess what? He inspired Cat Williams, who now just bought another base in Anniston, Alabama, to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So you never know who you're inspiring. We are seeds on good soil,
Yeah.
but we're seeds.
Yeah.
And we're a seed, but we're also creating seeds and planting seeds continuously.
Yes.
So we have to be mindful of that and what we do, our intentions. So even when we feel like, okay, I can't go any further, somebody is actually standing on your shoulders who's depending on you.
I love that.
To keep doing and keep believing and keep moving forward.
I love that. Yeah. So we have to remember that, ladies. When you want to give up, there's people waiting on you. Yeah, you got to keep
Depending on
going.
you.
Yeah.
Because if you don't make the step, if you don't take the charge, then that may prevent somebody else or make it harder for that next person. And we're not going to be here always. But I thank goodness for the people who did take the steps, who said, let me try
the
it.
pioneers.
Yes,
I love that.
one of my again, she could be a mentor in my head
Yeah.
from the past, and that's Madam C.J. Walker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of
I
course.
mean, Baby.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But, you know, she started her business during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And
Her
kept
story.
going.
I know you saw the movie.
Yes.
I was gonna say I know you saw the movie. Yeah, it was good. It was awesome.
I mean, just imagine, you know, what if Shirley Chisholm decided, you know what, they're not going to vote for me anyway. I'm not going to try it. What if a Kamala Harris didn't keep pushing forward? I mean, she was running for president, and Joe Biden tapped her and said, well, why don't you be my running mate? What if she said, you know what, I ain't got time for you, this or anything else?
Yeah.
Would she have experienced what she experienced to a whole nother level?
Yeah, you can't be afraid to just, you got to get out of your comfort zone, as you were saying earlier. You got to just go for it. And that's so important. I think you're right. We love comfort. I'm not going to lie, I love comfort.
Yeah,
but I've noticed
that bed was real warm this morning.
I think me and my bed need to like get a divorce. I love just, especially in the winter. That's in the summer. I love to get up and get out, but like in the winter, I'd be like, I
love
just
you
want to
too.
stay. I just want to stay in the bed. But I realize you gotta get in some discomfort to grow, and that's been the common theme that I've been hearing lately. And I think it's so important because you can't go to that next level if you stay comfortable. So you have to force yourself out of your comfort zone. And there's been times in my life where I've done that, and there's been times in my life where I'm like, I just want to stay comfy, but then I don't see the success or the growth that I'm desiring. So you saying that today is like confirmation. You got to just get out of that and go for it. And like you said, it's no real failure. You're learning. Just go for it. Who cares if you? And that's one thing for me. I'd be like, no, I don't want to fail. I want to, but you're not going to be successful if you don't try.
Not only that, you can't make a shot that you don't take.
That part, yeah. That's
we
good.
talked about we ventured off in 2024 and opened a test kitchen in Indianapolis.
Okay.
A lot of people would say, man, don't you feel bad it didn't work out? But it did work out because what it did was it redirected my thoughts and my intentions back to the basics. That worked.
I like that.
And so sometimes us veering off the road is good because it gives us a greater appreciation for what we have and what we do.
I like that, yeah.
You know? So I don't have I'm not begrudging that experience at all. It was an expensive lesson, but nonetheless, it helped me to get fortified in what this is, what it's meant to do, and what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
So it just helped to redirect me and refocus and, push harder, push through.
I love that because I recently had something like that where I had to cancel a big show, and it was a very expensive lesson as well. And at first I was like embarrassed and I was upset, and I was like, no, this is not what we're going to do. We're going to learn from this. And you're right, it shifted my perspective to start focusing on what I really should be focusing on, the direction I should go in my business, and like you said, what's working. Sometimes we want to go from 0 to 100, but like 25 is working right now. Work that 25 till you can't work it no more, and that's okay. And I think sometimes in being an entrepreneur, we want to go from 0 to 100, but there's a process. So,
you said something very important, perspective.
Yeah.
Perspective is everything. Again, one of my life lessons has taught me neither good nor bad, but perspective, how do we choose to look at it? Is that cup half empty or half full?
Yeah.
And how we choose to look at the set of circumstances that we are dealing with or going through is important because that's going to determine whether or not we're going to be able to get through it.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been in the 23rd Psalms, and it was ironic that I heard a sermon this past week that talks about how the 23rd Psalm starts off talking about how God is the Lord is my shepherd, and I don't want anything, and He keeps me all together. He makes me lay down in His green pastures. He keeps me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. But then it says, yea, do I walk through the shadow of the valley of death. So all that to say, you're going to go through some stuff.
He said the valley of the shadow of death.
But think about it. and I hadn't thought about this until I heard in this message. Shadow, there's still light. But something is blocking or disrupting that light.
Yes.
So we got distracted. But he's still there because what he say? My ride and my staff, they still
He got us
comfort me.
regardless.
Baby.
We coming out on top if we
still
don't give
going
up.
through some stuff.
Yeah.
But he's still there.
He's still there. And we coming out on top. So, yeah, it's like a guarantee when you're in God. He's got you covered. He's got your back if you keep the faith.
Have you ever seen a rainstorm or a snowstorm or a storm not pass? Every storm comes to pass.
Yeah.
And we talk about failure. That failure comes to pass. That discomfort comes to push us.
Yeah.
We go through labor in order to push that baby out. We're laboring our destiny. And so nobody promised that it would all be rosy.
Right, you're right.
Know, that every week I'd make payroll without struggling. But the irony is, even there have been times when I didn't make payroll that particular day. Still made it.
That's awesome, yeah.
Still made it.
Yeah.
Still standing.
That's awesome.
May have met NIPSCO at the meter. Guess what?
But it happened. Yeah, it happened. She made them. Maybe a little struggle.
Right.
But that's what I feel like with business, there's some ups and downs. And I feel like, I always say it's not for the faint of heart, but if you, I always say that, but if you have, like you say, conviction and a passion for something, I don't suggest people just go into anything. Like, you have to have conviction and passion.
You got to know your why. Why are you doing it?
Yes, absolutely.
And it cannot be, to make money. Because guess what? The thing that you chase will run from you. So if you chasing dollars, watch them dollars flow out the window because you chasing them. But if you truly have a purpose, an intent, a love, a passion for what you're doing, a purpose, and you know that why, in the days when it's just hard and you just don't know why, or I feel like you can't go on, lean into that why. And that why will pick you up and push you out that door when you're feeling like, I can't do this anymore. I'm a witness.
Yeah, me too.
Because there have been a lot of days
that you just want to say, forget it.
That was a nice F word.
Yeah, you like, and I feel you.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing, because I feel like a lot of the women who do listen, who are into entrepreneurship, they know it gets hard.
Yeah.
And so that's why I try to have these, and I'm glad you were on here 2 years ago and they see you again thriving, because sometimes a lot of times you want to give up, but just your encouraging words and just us knowing our why and all those important things, just remember that, ladies. Keep that passion, keep that determination. Watch your circle, get a great circle. You can have your mentors in your head, get you some mentors in real life and in your head, you know, and just keep the faith, keep going. And don't be scared to fail. It's part of the journey. Don't worry about it.
It's not an L. It is an L, but it's a lesson.
Yeah. You're learning.
Right.
Yeah, you're learning from it. And that's what because really when you let that fear of failure, there's nothing you can do. Because who cares? I mean, something happened. Okay, I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to keep it moving. And I'm like even encouraging myself, because I used to be such a perfectionist. But that stifles you because you're afraid of failure. And what are you, like you said, you're not going to shoot a shot you don't take.
Right.
So you're going to stay stifled, and then you're going to be even more miserable because you didn't go for it. You could have been successful by now, but you spent most of your time being scared.
And then you got people who want to analyze, and now they done got paralysis by the analyzing, so they can't even
I've been
move.
there.
You know what I'm saying?
I've been there
too.
Analyze the heck out of something, and by this time, if it was a problem, you would have figured it out by now and came to the
now
solution.
you done missed the opportunity.
That's good.
And so, I'm just saying.
I got to pause on that. That's good. I've experienced that. It's so true, and you just got to go for it.
A lot of people ask, they say, well, what is your biggest challenge? I said, you got a mirror?
Yourself. You are right.
I mean, if
right.
I can't believe that I could do it, then nobody else can help me through it.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
If I don't see myself achieving it, then how can you see me achieving it? And especially in these 10 years with this particular business and all the challenges, the ups, the downs, the in-betweens that I've been through, I firmly believe that even in those dark times when I was blocked, right, when I was walking through the shadow of the valley of death, I didn't fear evil.
Yeah.
Because one, I had already been through some valleys, right? And if you ever question whether or not you can get through this valley, I caution you to look through your rearview mirror.
All the times God has brought you through, He always will do it. Yeah.
For every mountain.
Yeah.
You know.
That's good.
And, you know, we have to, especially in this day and time right now, is we have to respect each other. We have to love each other.
Yeah.
Understand that our skill sets are purposeful.
Yeah.
And whatever you do, do it in purpose and on purpose. Be intentional.
Intentional.
Right? So if your dream is to design X, Y, and Z, there's a reason why you have that in your spirit.
Yeah.
Right?
And you can't let it go.
You can't let it go.
You can't let it go. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. This is awesome, ladies. You know we can talk all day. We love business. We love talking. Thanks for coming on. So where can they come and eat some yummy food? Where can they follow you? Give them all the deets.
Well, we're at Jay's Breakfast Club at 2601 Broadway here in the city of Gary. We're open every day except Wednesdays. Wednesdays we are closed, but Monday through Saturday we're 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you can't get to us, we can get to you because we do have DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. We also have a what do you call it? The app for Jay's Breakfast Club. So even if you're on your way to work, put your order in, goes right to the kitchen. You just come in here and grab it and keep on going. We do cater. We do offer after-hour facility rentals. We do have a private dining room. And 2025, we kicked off our after-hour series. So every third Thursday of the month, the grown folks come out and play.
I love it. Y'all check her out. This is amazing. It's a beautiful spot. I loved it the first time I came, and it's just even more beautiful now. So come out, support. We want to support each other. Make sure you follow her. Where can they follow you or the company?
Well,
either one.
All of the above. I am Joslyn R.W. Kelly, Facebook, I think Instagram. I'm still trying to get all of this stuff. But Jay's Breakfast Club Gary is Instagram as well as Facebook. I think TikTok also.
Okay.
Again, I'm learning.
You learning. But I know you are on Facebook and Instagram for sure because I follow you on there.
Okay.
So. Get on there, y'all. I get it. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Facebook and Instagram, most of y'all are on. Make sure you follow the business.
Right.
So yes, thank you guys. You know, you can follow me at Charbria Shine on all podcasts, on all, social media platforms. And also go to swcthestageplay.com because y'all know Single Woman Chronicles is coming out. Woo, woo. March 29th at Westside Theater Guild in Gary, Indiana. Y'all know my roots are in Gary, woo, woo, Emerson, BPA, and Westside.
It's okay. It's okay.
She ain't no good. She ain't no good. So check it out. You don't want to miss this show. Also, come to the Pink Pre-Show party. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be fun, music, SWC swag, mocktails, food. You don't want to miss that, okay? So go to swcthestageplay.com and use code SWC10 for $10 off. So we had a good time. Thanks for coming on. Yes, we hope we said something that encouraged, inspired, and elevated your thinking. And always remember to max out, girl. I'm Charbria Shine. Talk to you next time. Bye, guys.